So your favorite Supreme Court justice? Um, I do want to do this other story too, but your favorite Supreme Court justice? In a major story by ProPublica, was this outed? Clarence Thomas defends undisclosed family trips with the GOP mega donor. And it says here are the facts. So apparently, ProPublica did a major story on Clarence Thomas, who basically likes to sort of purport himself as being someone who's a family man, who drives around in a small truck, who lives a simple lifestyle. And then all of a sudden things started to get exposed because for decades he's accepted luxury travel from the billionaire Republican mega donor Harlan Crow. And Thomas, in a brief statement, acknowledges joining Crow and his wife, who he described as among his dearest friends, on a number of family trips over the years. He also defends his failure to disclose them, basically saying he sought guidance from his colleagues. And so, in other words, his colleagues said, "No, those rich, expensive trips that we also take, we don't report those either. Like, yeah, we all got billionaire friends who take us out, but of course they're not trying to influence the court. So no, don't report any of that." So he said he was advised that sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends who did not have business before the court was not reportable, which is inconceivable that all these folks are lawyers, right? And so they want to put out now a storyline that somehow they could not tell the difference between a family friend inviting you over to their house for dinner and taking luxury trips at retreats on yachts, and none of that being reported. You don't pay a dime for any of it. Somehow they can't distinguish the difference between of anybody in the country who should have some rules-based knowledge of what could even be thought about being improper, that they somehow had no idea. It's just ridiculous on its face. It says, but seven legal ethics experts consulted by ProPublica, including former ethic lawyers for Congress and the White House, said the law clearly requires that gifts of transportation, including private jet flights, which he took many of, be disclosed. If Thomas is arguing otherwise, the experts said he's incorrect, which is a polite way of saying that he's lying. And further, the story says that Thomas had taken international cruises on Crow's super yacht, flown on Crow's private jet, and regularly vacationed at Crow's private resort in the Adirondacks. In one instance, Thomas flew on Crow's jet from Washington Dulles Airport to New Haven, Connecticut, then flew back 3 hours later. It says he did not respond to the details of the statement. So just want to leave it there. Clarence Thomas getting busted for taking, again, expensive trips without reporting them, and now saying, of course, he had no idea whatsoever that he was supposed to report these trips, which all comes out as a huge lie. But the question becomes, will anything be done about it? And the answer to that is no, nothing will be done about it, because they're appointed for life. The other Supreme Court judges are also doing it. Members of Congress are also doing it. I'm sure the president also does it. As we all remember, Barack Obama, as soon as he got out of office, was taking private trips on yachts with the guy who started the Virgin.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. So
Hmm.
all those pictures. So this is just the way of life for folks in government. Doesn't matter which branch of government they're in. And so something this high profile, something this obvious, still won't get punished. But if you steal deodorant out the drugstore, you
Hmm.
going to jail for 5 years. So
Uh-huh. Yep. And the Democrats, for all of their the Democrats are being typically spineless in, calling for more ethics rules. This is why ethics rules need to be tightened. No, this is why the Supreme Court needs to be abolished. Period. Because these are 9 unelected lifetime appointments. Nobody votes for these people to interpret the law. And really, they make law. They don't really interpret the law. But nobody votes for them. And I talked about this on my show Friday. The Supreme Court has been targeted by conservative influence peddling for 20 years. Thomas isn't the first one. Let's go back to Scalia and what's the other one? Alito, who were targeted by this conservative anti-abortion crusader minister, Reverend Shank, whose group, oh, now I can't remember the name of his organization, but anyway, they had an organized covert campaign to influence the Supreme Court, where they would encourage and train the members of their organization to donate to the Supreme Court Historical Foundation so they could get like FaceTime with the Supreme Court justices. If you give enough money, then you get to have a private meeting with the Supreme Court justices. And through this private meeting, you cultivate a friendship with these people. So this happened with one of the couples that were the covert operatives for this anti-abortion group. They got in so close with Justice Alito that he was inviting them Bamas to his house for dinner. And it was at his house over dinner that Alito told them about the Hobby Lobby decision before it was released. And those people went back and told the folks in their organization and the Hobby Lobby. That's how the Hobby Lobby decision was leaked before it was released. I'm telling you, the same thing happened with
Mhm.
the Dobbs decision. The exact same things happened. The same thing happened. So, and it wasn't even, and it's not even just that the Supreme Court has been influenced by conservative, organized influence campaigns. How about the liberal corporate campaigns to use the 14th Amendment that was supposed to give formerly enslaved people citizenship now? The fact that liberal corporations use the 14th Amendment to declare that corporations are people.
Mhm.
So the Supreme Court has no legal or ethical independence from the government and the corporations of this country. Therefore, the Supreme Court should be abolished, just like this government should be.
Yeah, there's nothing objective about. Yeah, I mean, there's several pictures they have of him at resorts with corporate heads sitting around talking, smoking cigars. I mean, so this, I mean, it's obviously there's influence peddling going on. To suggest for a single second that somehow all the talk was what about golf, that you guys are sitting around talking about golf all day. He's a Supreme Court justice surrounding himself by the richest people who are giving him and his wife gifts, free trips, private jet usage. To suggest that this is not something that he did not understand was crossing a very clear line is totally just ridiculous on its face. And like you said, it's not like it's the first time, but to have it documented so far and so clear, and then to know that nothing will happen, even though it's just come out. It's not like he's not going to take the trips anymore. It's not like he's not
Right.
going to use the private jet anymore. It's not like he's going to remove himself from any case whatsoever that he's on. It's not like he's going to be forced to step down. It's not like he's going to resign and step down on his own. The story will play out for a few days, if not a week, and he will get on with business, doing everything he can to end affirmative action, reform, continuing to restrict abortion rights, women's health care rights, giving corporations more power and more control. That's what's going to continue happening.